Well, welcome back. If you've just tuned in, the very sad news that we're bringing you this morning is the passing of ANC stalwart at the age of 87, Ahmed Kathrada. A rich life he led a life that most certainly changed the face of South Africa, and one of those that was, as I quote the words of ANC spokesperson Zizi Kodwa, who's sitting with me now, is a man that, had he been out of prison, could have done a lot more, and we would probably be living in a better South Africa had he been given that freedom that he so richly deserved. Well, as I say, Zizi is sitting with me. So today he, this morning, breathed his last breath, and he was a man that, obviously, when you think of the ANC and you think of stalwarts, he is one of those top men that you do think of. And yet, in these last few years of his life and of late, he's been very outspoken about the ANC. Has his words impacted in any way? Do you think that his legacy and what he believed in and wanted will resonate and continue to resonate within the ANC?
That's a true character of the ANC leader. That's a true character, again, exceptional to that generation. If you go through history again, you'll see how President Mandela, on various occasions, has had to speak frankly and honestly about challenges facing the African National Congress. Walter Sisulu, Uncle Kathy lately, he has been very vocal about the African National Congress, because what we learned from the ANC, we must never mask difficulties to our people. We must never hide challenges that we face, because out of that, honestly, that is the only way we can improve and change the ANC for the better. Because for the ANC to be a better organization, it's important to also acknowledge and appreciate our weaknesses as an organization, because the ANC is a living organism. We are affected by both internal and external forces and factors, and only adaptation can make the ANC a better organization. Yeah. It's unfortunate that Uncle Kathy passes at a time when the demon of racism is on the rise, its ugly head. As an architect of non-racialism, we must actually double our efforts to fight all forms of discrimination. We make sure that we deepen non-racialism in the country, and we must rally all our people until we realize the objective and the principle of non-racialism in the country. We must deal with all the racists, and I think in his passing, one thing that he would have wished and see is a truly non-racial South Africa, because that is what Uncle Kathy fought and died for.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that, again, we'll know him for, and I think you mentioned it as well, is this anti-racialism that he fought for. He's got his foundation that certainly wants to see South Africa as this rainbow nation that they all dreamt of. And yet, I get back to what I was saying a bit earlier, along with many other elders, he was part of the group of elders that came to the ANC and said, guys, we're losing our path. We need to get back on this. Some of the words and the things that he has said and the outspokenness of where we find ourselves as a country, we hope that it has had influence. Has it had influence on the leadership of the ANC as we see it today? Absolutely,
no doubt. I've been to a number of meetings where Uncle Kathy has been part of a delegation. Whether you're talking about 101 stalwarts, whether you're talking about a foundation, his own foundation. Yeah. You remember there was a Nelson Mandela O.R. Tambo and the Kathy Foundation, whom we met after they've also expressed certain reservations about certain things going on in the organization. And we do appreciate that. And I think his voice and some of the critiques and suggestions he made about the African National Congress, we will always appreciate. And I think as a current leadership of the African National Congress, we will always make sure that whatever you would have wished his organization to be and not to be, will continue to strive to be a better organization. The ANC, like all human beings, like all living organisms, were perfectly imperfect. And we'll continue to perfect our way through our conduct, because we'll continue to do better. We'll strive to build a better South Africa. But because we're striving to do something, we'll continue to make mistakes along the way. And it is because of people like Uncle Kathy that along the way we'll say to the generation, the living generation, that these are the things that you can do better. Yeah. And we'll continue to inspire from that in a fountain of wisdom. And we'll continue to be a better organization as much as we listen to his generation and the generation that he left behind, the two remaining Rivonius trialists. Yeah, I mean, we can't but forget the moment, and I'm going to be crossing to Griselda Lewis in a minute's time now, so let's try and keep this one short. But
many of us can't ever forget that letter that he wrote to President Jacob Zuma, basically asking him to step down and feeling that he wasn't the right leader for this country. I mean, that's got to, in a way, tell you something about the leadership of the ANC. I mean, again, as we sit here and we reflect and we look at the face of this man and we reminisce about the words that he has spoken and the events that have unfolded. This all happened last year, of course. I mean, we listen to the elders, but it seems as though the ANC is not listening to the elders.
No, we do. I mean, even I think this week or early next week, we will again meet with a team of the committee of 101 stalwarts. What is important is that this generation appreciated that there is what is called structures of the African National Congress, but also that openness to speak to the leadership of the African National Congress, because it doesn't happen often in a number of organizations where, as part of internal democracy, openness and free speech and honesty is allowed in the organization. The leadership is not criticized in a number of organizations. Yeah. It's only in the African National Congress you find that openness. And Uncle Kathy exercised what I think many of us we would have appreciated, that every time we're faced with the challenges in the organization, it's better if we confront the African National Congress leadership, not to speak in sideways, not to organize in groupings, but to confront the leadership on the challenges faced by the organization. That we appreciate from individuals, including Uncle Kathy and a number of people whom we meet every day and say, there are things that we appreciate from the African National Congress, there are things that we need to do better in the African National Congress.
All right. Well, there you have it. Thank you very, very much for joining us here on the program. Zizi Kodwa, who of course is the spokesperson for the ANC, talking to us about the legacy of Ahmed Kathrada and what he has left behind and what he did for the party over all of the years that he served as the party's, one of the party's great stalwarts. Let's take a break here on the program. When we return, we cross over to Griselda Lewis. She has now arrived at the hospital where Ahmed Kathrada passed away during the early hours of this morning. And that, of course, is the Donald Gordon Institute. Do stay tuned. We'll have her live after this.